Good morning, everyone, and thank you so very much for joining us. Community members, staff, board members, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Madam Chair, it is now 9 a.m. And so we promise to get people back to work after we make this really important decision.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kim Gatling, and I serve as the board chair for United Way of Greater Greensboro. Welcome to this special meeting for the membership of the United Way of Greater Greensboro. We are here today because the United Way board and staff have agreed to a bylaw amendment. In accordance with United Way of Greater Greensboro, Bylaw Article 10, Governing Amendments, changes require an affirmative vote of the majority of the board of directors and by the members entitled to vote by 2/3 of the votes cast. You are our members and we appreciate you. The bylaw amendment we are here to seek your approval on relates to racial equity, non-discrimination, diversity, and inclusion when conducting the business of the United Way of Greater Greensboro. Similar bylaw changes were implemented by United Way Worldwide back in July 2020. The rationale for the proposed bylaw amendment is as follows. Race prevents too many people from being treated with the humanity and dignity that they deserve. Racial inequity runs counter to everything at United Way of Greater Greensboro, everything that its volunteers and professionals live, fight, and value every day. United Way of Greater Greensboro has decided to document its part to make sure our communities reflect the core values that we represent: equity, respect, dignity, and opportunity. As a nonprofit, we can do more to guarantee that basic human rights and freedoms for every person in our communities are protected, both today and for generations to come. The current bylaws of United Way of Greater Greensboro do not contain requirements or language to address racial equity, the condition where one's race identity has no influence on how one fares in society. The current bylaws are limited to non-discrimination for the board and for the staff. Adam Tarleton, Secretary and General Counsel for the United Way Board of Directors, will now share the specific bylaw amendment.
Good morning. The proposed amendment to the bylaws recommends three main points. Number one, a posted and public racial equity, diversity, inclusion, and non-discrimination statement. Number two, annual racial equity training for all United Way of Greater Greensboro Board of Directors and staff. And number three, racial equity criteria in community investment grants. Now, in accordance with our bylaws, the Board of Directors and staff of the United Way of Greater Greensboro are proud to recommend the bylaw amendment to Article 9 of our bylaws that you see on the screen in front of you. And I'm going to pause for a moment to just give everyone a chance to read the proposed bylaw amendment. Kim, I propose that we submit these changes to the membership for a vote.
Kim, you're on mute.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Thank you to Adam and my fellow board of directors. This bylaw amendment comes from the committee and requires a second. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. The vote for membership will be conducted via a poll on your screen. Please indicate your vote accordingly. I am very pleased to announce that the membership of the United Way of Greater Greensboro unanimously passed this very important amendment. This is a historical day for the United Way of Greater Greensboro. Thank you for your participation and for your support of this very important work. So thank you very much. And with that, I'll have Michelle to give us some closing remarks.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you to this community. I am truly, truly, truly proud of this moment. I do think that it was important for us to document what it means to be an equitable organization. And that is really what we did. And I really do think that we have been an organization that believed in non-discrimination, but there's a difference between equity and non-discrimination. So I thank you. I also want now to share with you the statement that we will post publicly that will solidify to any reader and anyone who comes in touch with our work what it means to be an organization that honors diversity, equity, and inclusion. So could we please put up the public statement that will exist for us? And it is not often that I would read something, but today I think it's important for us to read this. United Way of Greater Greensboro acknowledges that diversity, equity, and inclusion are the heart of living united. And we believe all people in Greater Greensboro should live in a thriving community. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are moral and business imperatives required for United Way of Greater Greensboro to grow, advance the common good in our communities, and achieve our efforts of ending local poverty. The United Way of Greater Greensboro Board of Directors, staff, and volunteers will reflect individuals of different backgrounds, cultures, and experiences that make up our community. We recognize that bias can be conscious and intentional or unconscious and unintentional. We vow to purposefully identify, discuss, and challenge issues of bias and the impact they have on our organization, systems, and people. We are committed to challenge ourselves to understand and correct bias and inequities. We discover and gain a better understanding of ourselves during this process. We are resolved in all that we do to respect, appreciate, value, and not discriminate against the following, but not limited to race, religion, skin color, gender, nationality, language differences, sexual orientation, sexual identity, gender identity, gender expression, age, socioeconomic status, work and behavior styles, parental status, differing perspectives, lived experiences, as well as physical, mental, and developmental abilities. We are committed to explicitly and publicly affirm our identity as an anti-bias and anti-racist organization. Our identity as anti-bias and anti-racist will be accomplished through a culture supported by policies, funding decisions, supported programs, and business practices. We will leverage differences and diversity by bringing together unique individual backgrounds to collectively and more effectively address the issues facing our communities. We acknowledge that to end poverty in Greater Greensboro, we must hear the voices of people who have been systematically excluded for centuries, as well as create system-wide change. We will make investments that reflect our mission to end poverty. We strive to achieve our mission by focusing on the root causes of poverty for the betterment of our entire community, so everyone has equitable access to supports and services, including basic needs, quality education, good health, and employment. Signed, the United Way of Greensboro Board of Directors and staff. And so I thank you. And I don't really think there's any more that needs to be said. We want our statement to resonate through the walls of homes, businesses, and even on street corners, to know that there is someone standing in the gap, and that is the United Way of Greater Greensboro and all of its members. There are more than 20,000 members who are affiliated with the United Way. And that's a significant number of our population. And we want to grow that so that this statement becomes true and becomes a guiding principle for a community that actually ends poverty, and a community that honors each and every person's contribution. But most of all, it expresses our love of humanity. So I thank you very, very much for being at this special meeting this morning. We are honored, and this will go into the archives. We will be 100 years old in 2 years. So 98 years into our history, we have now inked the importance of equity. When the United Way started, there was segregation in our great nation. There were laws that excluded people purely on the basis of the color of their skin. And today we are suggesting that we have made progress, and we're going to ink it. And we're not going to be general about it, but we're going to be specific. So I thank my board of directors who literally said yes from the moment we came in front of them. But I thank the courage of my staff who said, we must put this in indelible ink. And so to the team of United Way, you should be honored that you said change must happen. So I stand on the shoulders of giants, call my staff to stand in front of you today and read to you this statement. So again, I thank you and I honor all of you. Have a fabulous day, because this is the end of the special meeting. So thank you to my board chair, and thank you to my general counsel and secretary, Adam Tarleton, for bringing this forward, and Kim Gatling, our board chair. So have a great day, everyone.